Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. Today, we're going to be focusing a lot on the hips. Not that Yin doesn't already focus a lot on the hips, but maybe a little bit more than we normally would. We're going to get into the second chakra, the sacral chakra, which deals with the lower body here, maybe right between the navel and the pubic bone. So that area, you've got your urinary system in there, you've got your sexual organs in there, hips are obviously in there. So we're going to get into it. And prop wise, we are going to go into frog or a variation of frog today. So I'm going to recommend several folded blankets here or some pillows in case you need more cushion on your knees, and or maybe a bolster, a strong cushion in case you need support for the trunk in order to come into one of those. If you're thinking, well, I know what full frog is, I can't do that, no worries. I will have an option for you. So as you come to a comfortable seat, good. It's going to root the sits bones down into your space. Good. And I'm just going to take a slight tuck in the chin. Now I want a tall spine. I want my ears, shoulders, and hips to be in alignment as best as I can. You can sit up on a block or a folded blanket if you need to. I'm just going to settle in and breathe. Inhaling and expanding. Exhaling and releasing. Now the color I'm going to give you to focus on is golden orange. So a golden orangey color. Then I'll give you affirmations throughout that go along with the second chakra, the creativity, sensuality. Let's take the fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen. Reach up, look up there. Exhale, hands to heart center. Creating the intention. So I gave you a color, which can also be your focus, a golden orange. You can also focus on the words creativity, sensuality. You can come up with something different that has nothing to do with the second chakra. And once you have that said, we'll come up and reach, turning palms away for taller from crown to tail as you bring those arms down. Good. We're going to start off here in a child's pose. This is our first one, so I want this to be a gentle child's pose. So there's not a need to come into this one at too deep, too soon. And you can always, too, have a folded blanket here to cushion knees. You can have another folded blanket here any way you need it, kind of to the back. That'll kind of keep you from coming back too much too soon, which is what I'm going to do today. So knees can be together as wide as the mat or somewhere in between. I'm just going to sit back. My blanket's going to kind of put on the brakes, if you will. You can take your arms long in front of you. You can take your hands back by the ankle. You can fold up a blanket or something here if you don't want to go all the way down to the floor. You can also put something under the forehead here if you like. But just come where you need to come. And just breathe and expand. And let this one be active. So by active, I want a nice active breath, breathing and expanding that rib cage. And an engaged abdomen. So zip up from the pubic bone behind the navel. Your first affirmation is, I am a creative being. I am a creative being. Now from here, we're going to come up a little bit. But I'm going to remove my blanket now that I've kind of set in here. You can keep yours if you need to. I'm going to come back a little bit more. Come back a little bit deeper this time if you can. But be mindful of your edge. We never want to go past the edge. I am a creative being. Focusing on that golden orange color. And then from here, good. I'm going to come up just a little bit. So I'm just going to bring my hands back. We're going to get into the side body here because that makes frog a little bit better. So we're going to walk the hands over towards the right. I'm going to walk my left fingertips forward, lifting the hip, pressing into the right hand, sinking towards the left. Breathe and expand. This is also a nice upper body stretch here since we're not going to be there too much today. Bring a little bit of balance to all the hip work. Breathe and expand. And when you're ready, we'll come up, move back through center, take a half a child's pose or a full child pose. I'm going to do a roundy child pose here. And then I'm going to come back. I'm going to walk over towards my left, walking the right fingertips forward, lifting the hips, pressing into the left hand, sinking towards the right, breathing and expanding. And then from here, when you're ready, we'll come up and we'll come back to center. Last time, full, maybe a roundy child pose. Find what feels best for your body in this moment. And then when you're ready, hands under the shoulders, and we'll press ourselves up. We're going to come to windshield wipers here. We're going to prepare for log stack. Some people call it double stack pigeon. They're all the same thing. But I'm going to start by taking my feet as wide as my mat here. I'm going to take my hands behind me. Good. And I'm just going to kind of take my chest up a little bit just to find a little bit more length in the spine. My belly button is in. And I'm just going to gently let my knees go to one side and then the other side. So one of the reasons I like windshield wiper, not just as a prep, but when you take everything to one side, one hip is externally rotating, the other hip is internally rotating. So you're getting two things in one. Good. Now from here, when you're ready, good, we're going to sit up. I'm going to turn to face you for this one. And we're going to go to the log stack. So I'm going to start with my left leg on the bottom. So my shin is relatively parallel to the short edge of the mat, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm going to stack my right shin right on top of there. So I've got my ankle and knee, ankle and knee. Now, I did an intense workout earlier this morning, so I'm a little tight here, so you see I've got a space. So I'm going to take one of my folded blankets. I'm going to fold that and I'm going to slide that in here. Okay, it'll be just like that. So now if I wanted to fold, I can safely do that. So that's one option. If you're really, really tight and that still doesn't feel good to you, just take the top leg forward and kind of more crisscross applesauce and you can modify that. Okay, I'm going to come right here. I'm going to get the timer. I'm going to fill this in. And then from here, good. I'm going to sit nice and tall and let's flex the feet. So take the toes toward each other. So I've got my top toes going this way, my bottom toes that you can't really see under the blanket, it's going in the opposite direction. Okay, so I'm nice and tall. Now, those of you that would like to fold here can take arms up and fold. If you want a little bit more shoulders into it, take the arms out. Whatever leg you have on top, that's the arm that's going to be on top. You can hug, you can wrap, lengthen, and fold. Try not to round the spine here. So you should feel this a little bit more into the hip of the leg that's on top or in front, but it's not wrong or uncommon if you also feel something in the base hip as well. I usually feel it in both, but I feel it more intensely in the hip of the leg that's on top. Breathe and expand. So I am a creative being. What about I attract people who treat me with respect? I attract people who treat me with respect. So I am a creative being. I attract people that treat me with respect. Good. And then from here, carefully come out. If you took a wrap, carefully undo. Shake all of that out. If you've got a prop helping you out here, we'll move that out of the way. We'll undo. We're going to take that into a windshield wiper again. So I'm just going to turn to the side here. Okay. Taking hands behind me, feet are as wide as my mat. Then I'm going to press in. I'm going to lengthen my spine and go from one side to the other. Now you should feel a little bit more open on the side that you had on top. So when you windshield wiper, that's going to feel a little bit different on that side. That's normal. Good. And then let's take that with the opposite leg. So now, whatever leg you had on top, it's going to be on the bottom. So that's going to be my right. I'm going to take my left leg and stack it on top here. Good. So I'm a little bit more open on this side. I don't need a prop in here for this side, but if you do, please put one in. And then when you're ready, sitting nice and tall. Good. Toes are coming in towards each other here. And if you want to do the wrap here or the hug, then we'll go into that. So my arms wrap to the side. My left leg is on top. My left arm is going to wrap on top. You can hug. You can find that eagle arm wrap. You can stay here, or we can fold in just a little bit. So coming back to that golden orange color, or something that you like that is a golden orange color. So I am a creative being. I attract people who treat me with respect. Staying with the breath. Remember, you can undo anything at any time if that's what your body needs you to do. Belly button is still in here. Belly button is holding the body up in that fold if you took it. Be mindful of your limit. Remember, in Yin, we come to about 85 to 90%. We're not going 100%. We're not going past that for sure. And we'll come back up and gently undo and shake that out. Carefully undo the legs here. We're going to come back to windshield wipers one more time just to reset before we go on to the next thing. So hands behind, feet as wide as the mat, and just windshield wiper. And your belly button should be in here. The spine is going into a slight rotation when you do windshield wiper. And then when you're ready, good. We're going to come to a wide-legged forward fold. So for this one, because my hips are a little tight, or at least on one side, I'm going to bring a folded blanket in, and I'm going to sit up on that blanket. You may not need that, and that's okay. But I'm going to take my legs out to the side here. Again, be mindful. So here's an example of where I am at my widest. I'm just going to bring that in a little bit here. Good. Toes are going to come towards the face. If you need cushion or anything like that under your knees to remind you to keep a little bend in them, that's always okay to do. Little hand towels tend to work best for that. And we're going to do this one for 3 minutes. My time's going here. Good. So from here, when we're ready, big inhale and reach. Exhale, lengthen with a long spine first, and then take the arms down. You can fill in the space with a bolster or cushion as needed. If toes, knees, and hips turned inward when you did that, turn them back up towards the ceiling. Good. Next affirmation, I enjoy pleasure in all areas of my life. I enjoy pleasure in all areas of my life. This is the pleasure chakra. Pleasure means different things to different people. For some, it is sexual, can be sexual, but it doesn't have to be. So you apply that how you need to apply that. Now, as you settle in here and the body starts to release and relax, when or if it is safe for you to fold in or sink in deeper, then that's fine to do. Do it on an exhale. I'm just going to gradually come there. So remember, the goal here is not to get the chest all the way to the floor. The goal is to be where you are in the moment and honor yourself where you are in that moment. There's been a few times I could get my chest to the floor, but there's other days, most days, where I cannot. So I don't force myself to do it. Forcing yourself to do something before the body's ready is a recipe for disaster, aka an injury. I am a creative being. I attract people that treat me with respect. I enjoy pleasure. I welcome pleasure in all areas of my life. Come to the breath. And then come up from here and walk it back up. Good, and stop there. Great. So now we're going to do this into a twist. So I'm going to give you options. If you're a little bit more advanced, what we just did didn't bother you, you can stay with both legs open. I'm going to modify this one. So I am going to bring my right foot in because I just don't want to go past my limits and overdo that myself. So options, you can just do a side bend here. This is still a slight twist, or you can follow me, rotate and fold, and that's where we're going to stay there. Okay, so we're trying to open up the quadratus lumborum, QLs for short, into this back body. And we'll do this one for a couple minutes. Good. So from here, whenever you're ready, good, we're going to come up. Good. Get a side bend or rotate and fold. Both hips are grounded, finding length. So I'm not at my max. I'm just going to come right here and I'm going to let my body sink in. I'm breathing and expanding. And then the next affirmation you can say is, I allow my creativity to flow through me freely. I allow my creativity to flow through me freely. Good. Now again, as the body kind of sinks in and starts to relax and release, If it's safe for you, you can fold in a little bit deeper. It might not be safe for you, so be mindful. No pain, numbness, tingling, or burning ever. Returning the breath. And returning to that golden orange color. Breathe. And release from here. You always want to carefully come out of there. Never want to jerk out of something. And when you're ready, we're going to take that all to the other side. So now I'm going to switch out my legs. You've been a trooper. Legs, can still be wide if that's for you. It's not for me today. I'm going to take my left foot in. My right leg is out. Same thing towards this side. So you can come up, you can side bend over, or you can follow me, rotate and fold. Okay. So another couple minutes here. When you're ready, big inhale, exhale, side bend or rotate and fold. And careful not to go too deep right off the bat. So again, another little review. I am a creative being. I attract people that treat me with respect. I enjoy pleasure in all areas of my life. I allow my creativity to flow through me freely. I allow my creativity to flow through me freely. And what about creating nourishes my soul and brings me joy? Creating nourishes my soul and brings me joy. So remember, as it's safe for you to do so, be mindful of what you've got going on. On exhales, you can sink deeper, but only when the body is ready. Breathe and expand. And from here, it will carefully come out and come back up. Great. So we're going to go back into internal and external rotation. We're going to take this into a deer pose. So those of you that are familiar with Pilates Reformer in the Z, the Pilates Z that we sit in, this is pretty much exactly like that. So again, sit up on a blanket if you need to. I'm going to start by taking my right leg forward here. This is a little bit parallel. I'm going to move a little bit here to my right as I take my left leg back right here. Okay. Now, this Z may not be appropriate for everybody. This is a little bit of a hip opener too, but it can be harsh on hips and knees. So if that's you, you can always just bring this leg here. You're still externally and internally rotating. Okay, so be what's comfortable. Sit up on a prop if you need to sit up on something. Good. And this heel doesn't have to touch anything over here. We're just going to be here. And then about halfway through, we'll do this for 2 minutes. I will offer you a twist. Okay. So I'm just sitting here and trying to just kind of relax down into it. And energetically, I'm taking this hip down, even though it may not be a perfect anchor. This helps a little bit more lengthening in the spine. So I am a creative being. I attract people who treat me with respect. I enjoy pleasure in all areas of my life. I allow my creativity to flow through me freely. And creating nourishes my soul and brings me joy. So you have the option to stay right here. If something funny is going on in the knee or hip and you need to come out, please do so. Otherwise, I'm going to rotate to my right. You can stay here. You can fold in a little bit. Careful if you fold in, not to let this hip lift up a lot. It's going to come a little bit into a corner. I'm just going to breathe and expand. Like everything else, there's different variations that you can take with deer. We'll have some different variations with frog in a moment. So creating nourishes my soul and brings me joy. And then from here, if you took a twisty, we'll come up out of that first and come back. Good. Now from here, I'm already starting to get pretty open, so I don't need to undo and do another windshield wiper again. But if you need to do that, listen to your body and go there. Otherwise, I'm just going to bring my left leg around. I'm going to set up for deer for the other side. So my left leg is going to be in front. Good. Just going to move this prop a little bit down. Good. And then I'm going to take my right leg here. Good. I'm taking that there. Good. A little bit of a squaring off of the hips a little bit. And again, energetically, this hip is going to come down, but it doesn't have to actually touch. We'll be here for 2 minutes. So while you're here, again, support yourself. Zip up from the pubic bone to behind the navel. Find that good breath. Breathe and expand. You can close your eyes, coming back to that golden orange color. And as you're here deciding, are you going to take a twisty here today or not? Those of you that are, let's take arms up nice and tall. And we're going to rotate. And you're going to be at a little bit of an angle here as you come. You can fold in deeper if that's okay. But I'm going to breathe and expand. And the next affirmation I'll give you is I embrace my vibrant sexuality. I embrace my vibrant sexuality. And everybody's sexuality is different. So what does that mean to you? Breathe, expand. And then from here, when you're ready, good, we'll come up, and come back if you took the twist. All right, now we're really nice and prepped for frog. So that's where we're gonna go now. So I'm going to set up my blanket because those of you that know me know that I like a double blanket here for knee support. So I'm just gonna kind of undo this one. I might feel a little bit differently if I was working on carpet, but I've got hardwood or laminate in here to be a little bit more specific. So a little bit harder on the knees. I always want to give them a little bit of cushion. That other one up here. Okay, so different things for different people. Some of you are going to come to a half frog. And for you, that might mean your one leg goes directly behind you, or this other leg goes out to the side, or you can come in from this way and pull in. It's okay to have a prop underneath here. Hip comes directly, or knee comes directly out from the hip, but can be back. You can also bend that foot in, okay? And then you can lay down here, whatever you need to do. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to take the knees out directly from the side. So I've just kind of started from all fours. I went out and then maybe my feet touch from there and then come down. So that's one way to do frog. I'm going to do it a little bit differently here. So for this one, I'm going to bring in my bolster for upper body support. And then I'm going to start here. Okay. I'm going to turn toes out to the side. And then I'm just going to slide into it from here until I can't anymore. So careful that you don't come back. Careful that you don't come forward. This is the most common tendency. You want the hips and the knees to be right in alignment if you're doing this one. I'm going to pull this blanket in, not blanket, bolster in. Good. And then you can come down here. And then I'm going to come all the way down. Some of you, it's okay if you put some blocks under what you're using. Just be mindful, we're going to be here for 3 minutes. If you're doing a half frog, I will give you a cue halfway through to switch sides so you can be even. And your head's going to come in one direction. And breathe. And again, you can close your eyes. You can come to that beautiful golden orange color. And I'll give you another affirmation here to ponder. So I receive pleasure and abundance with every breath I take. I receive pleasure and abundance with every breath I take. Now repeat these to yourself. Breathe and expand. As you become more supple and open, you might find yourself being reliant less and less on props. That is okay. I have been able to do frog before without any props, but not recently. The funny thing is, despite all the stresses and everything of COVID and the great lockdown of 2020, I was able to get into frog with no props. But since the lockdown ended, I haven't been able to. So who knows? So we're about halfway there. So if you need to make a change, you'll turn your head in the other direction. You need to switch legs if you're doing a half variation. If you need to come out or readjust it, and we'll do that here. Breathe and expand. So remembering I am a creative being. I attract people who treat me with respect. I allow my creativity to flow freely through me, or through me freely. Creating nourishes my soul and brings me joy. Here, when you're ready, good. We're going to carefully come out of here, no matter how you chose. So we're going to carefully take one leg at a time, coming back behind you. Good. I'm going to move my bolster out of the way. Good. I'm just going to come to a little crocodile pose here. So taking my legs maybe about as wide as the mat, making a recovery pillow here with my hands for my forehead. If it would feel good to you to wiggle, wiggle, wiggle side to side, please feel free to go there. And just breathe and ponder. And return to that golden orange color of the sacral chakra. Good. Now, knowing you can stay here longer if you'd like, even if this is, an optimal place for you to be for Shavasana, feel free to go there, but we're going to turn over onto our backs now. So get there how you need to get there. Good. And as you come down here, good. Again, if it would feel good for a little windshield wiper, take another. Good. And from here, we're going to go into a twist. So I'm going to take my right leg long first. I'm going to bring my left knee in. Good. And then I'm going to take this over to my right. Now, if it does not feel good to a hip or a knee to have your left foot hanging down, support that with a folded blanket, a block, a bolster, cushion, something. And then just be here, maybe looking in the opposite direction. Good. So an affirmation again. I welcome sensuality into my life. I welcome sensuality into my life. Which can go back to, what does sensual mean to you? For some people, it can have a sexual undertone to it. For other people, it's completely different. So figure out what that means to you, and then see how you can welcome that into your life. And then when you're ready, good, carefully guide your leg and everything back into center. Let's take the other knee in. Give yourself a nice tug. Good. And then we're going to take that to the other side. So my left leg is going to come long now. Good. And I'm going to guide over to the left. So right leg's going to the left. Good. Support that foot. If hanging down here does not feel good, do anywhere in your body. Breathe and expand. I welcome sensuality into my life. And then we'll come back to center. Carefully guide your leg and everything back to center one more time. Bring everything into the chest. And when you're ready, we'll come to our Shavasana here. So I like a bolster under my legs here. You might not. You can use any prop you want to make it more comfortable for you. And then once I get down here, I'm just going to pull the shoulders back or do any other little movement that can make me about 10% more comfortable. And then final thought I will give you is I honor the sacred body in which my soul resides. I honor the sacred body in which my soul resides, because we are all sacred. Taking some deep breaths here. Choose stillness or gently take head and neck from side to side, maybe moving fingers and toes. Choose stillness or bringing knees back into the chest. Choosing to keep the upper body grounded or maybe tucking the chin, lifting the chest into a full body hug. And choosing stillness or moving any props out of the way if you used any during your Shavasana time. Taking legs long in front of you, arms long behind you, and reach and lengthen from the edge of the fingertips, the edge of the toes. Full body stretch, point and flex those feet. Bend and stretch those hands, rolling wrists and ankles in one direction and then in the other. And then from here, whenever you're ready, carefully bending in both knees, and you choose rolling over to your right or left side, the side that works best for your body in this moment. Taking all the time that you need here. And when you're ready, pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat where we started our yoga practice. And finding a nice tall spine, ears, shoulders, and hips, and that alignment as best as you can. And then when you're ready, fingertips to the side, palms turning up. Inhale, reach, 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 and lengthen, looking up there. Exhale, hands to heart center. Reconnecting with that golden orange color in the sacral chakra. 1, 2. And we'll take them to the forehead for good and true thoughts, to the lips for good and kind words, and to the heart for open and loving heart. Knowing no effort on this mat is ever wasted, no gain is ever reversed. May you be safe. May you stay well. May you have a wonderful day, evening, week, month, season ahead. Namaste.